Hello guys, welcome again to the show, Identity, Purpose, Assignment. And again we are with Evangelist and Kagiri. We are going to continue on this series. Last time we had a very good time and we acquired lots of wisdom concerning areas of our lives, concerning marriage, life partner, concerning assignment. You remember the garden. So today we are going to have a continuation of that. I hope you be blessed with the show. Welcome.
Hello there, my viewer. It's such a pleasure and an honor again to connect in this show. I thank Solomon, who has been very diligent to move us to this direction. So we're still going to address the issue that we started last week. We're talking about identity, we are talking about purpose and assignment. And as I said before, people don't understand what is the meaning of purpose. What is purpose? And I try to define purpose is something that you were created to do on this earth. It's the reason why you exist. I say that purpose is something that flows easily in you. Your purpose is very easy to detect because it is locked in your talents, in your gifting, and you don't even get pressure to know exactly what you carry because these things flow easily. And so I said it was very important for us to address the issue of who we are, because when we understand the purpose or the talent, the gifting we are carrying, then we are able to understand who we are in this life. So if I break that down, for example, you need to understand, am I a singer? Am I a teacher? Am I a carpenter? What is it that I flow easily in? Then when you define your talent and your gifting, then you will be able to understand the identity you carry. And from there you pursue your identity, you pursue that path, you make the skill and whatever else you have refined. Your identity is crucial because you don't want to be called what you are not. Yeah, and many people are living in other people's, they can say you are a teacher, whatever you are, and basically you know you are not that person. So people have named people. You can be named a certain person that you're not by your parents, even your friends, but it is your duty to discover, who am I? Who am I? I don't want to be given an identity that is not my identity. And so when we discover who we are, it is very easy now to navigate in life. Because I said, when you understand that I'm a footballer, that my place and my terrain is often in the field, then that is the place that you will find me often. Now that is the place you make relationship or connections, because these people are called in the same field like you. These are the people that will sharpen you. These are the people that you work with, and these are the right connections for you. But if that footballer leaves that and decides to go and become a carpenter and tries to connect with carpenters, it's a big error because those connections are not workable. So we need to connect with the right people, but you cannot connect with the right people if you do not know who you are. You must be able to define and to understand what kind of our talent, a gift, what is it that I carry, what kind of a grace. You know, the grace is a certain power that is given in the talent. What do I carry? And where is it supposed to be showcased? Because you can't showcase, can you imagine? I'm trying to imagine, there are some talents. For example, if you're a nurse, the only place you can work very well, it's in a hospital, in that environment. You can't just imagine somebody who is a nurse umeenda umemweka kwa soko ama uko kwa bus station where everybody is hitting the matatu. That is not the place for that nurse. The nurse is in a place where people are ailing, they are in pain, they needed to be comforted, she needs to address. So you can imagine the way there is such a difference. If somebody tries to make you do what you are not created to do, then there's a big challenge right there. You cannot perform and you cannot connect well. It is just like when you take a fish out of water. What happens when you bring the fish to the land? It cannot be able to find life. You know, it starts dying immediately because there is no water. The water that is where the oxygen is found, and the water that is the terrain for the fish. So when you remove that fish, immediately you bring it to the dry land. What you're saying, that fish is totally mispositioned, wrong location, and the result is going to be death. The same thing, if you take a lion who is a great, he's the king of the jungle, when he roars, every animal in the jungle will hide. Take that lion and put it in the water. Immediately the lion will start to sink and die. Because first of all, it is not in its terrain, it cannot even get its air, it is just in the wrong place. That is how serious. When you don't understand your identity, when you don't understand your purpose, when you are totally mispositioned, you can imagine what is happening to you. Slowly, you are losing out. Slowly, you are headed to death, because that is the wrong place for you. You cannot get the things that are natural for you. The water is natural for the fish to be able to swim. So that means if you are in a position where now the environment is not for you, that is not what you're called to do. Everything is so unnatural for you. Okay? So when you are in your natural environment, you function well. The jungle is a natural environment for the lion. It will function well. So we need to be very serious about the purpose. We need to be serious about the talents and the gifts we carry. Because if we are mispositioned, we are in the wrong position, we are in danger of losing out. Actually, you lose out here on earth because definitely you will struggle in life. You will just be doing the wrong thing. There is no productivity. There is no happiness. Your life is going to be vexed. Yeah? Because you're working against yourself. There are people who can even pick very high careers and say, oh, I want to be a doctor. But even that person probably is not even a doctor in them. Maybe they're just got to be as simple as a technician, and is very good with the IT products. And so when he tries to do what he's doing, it's frustrating. We've heard of professors who have done so well, they are so educated, so many doctorates, and at the end of the day, those people, you will hear they have very weird stories coming out there. There's a story I heard of a professor who threw themselves from the highest floor, I think 10th floor. Why do you think such a man who is well learned, who has so much information, would be so dissatisfied with life that he finds no meaning? It's not about the money. It is not about the position, because he has a very big position. It is not about anything in life that is lacking, but he is totally empty, unsatisfied. Okay? If you do something that you are not sent to do, inside your spirit there is no gratification. There is no satisfaction. Anytime you do purpose, it's very interesting. You may not even need a remuneration, because this thing flows from you naturally. It is something that is very satisfying. In fact, if they pay you, you are very happy about it, but you could still do it without payment. People, you've seen singers, there are people who can sing, they just enjoy it. And it brings them such great satisfaction because there is a grace for it. They are dispensing something they carry. They are not working against themselves. So this professor might be just working against himself. Maybe he learned, he got all the doctorates, got all the money, got everything he needed. But the gift and the talent he carried, that he never was able to harness it. And so what is it? Eventually he feels a gap inside him, an emptiness. A flatness in life. What is the purpose? It's not just buying the cars. It's not buying just buying the houses. It's not just having money. No. Life has to have a purpose. And the purpose is very gratifying when you do what you are sent to do. Yes.
Evangelist Ann.
Yeah.
So that's very nice information towards purpose.
Yes.
But you have to agree with me that a lot of people actually do not know what that purpose is for them. So they're just living out their lives.
Yes.
So will you probably tell us, how do you find purpose? How do you find that identity of purpose that you should have?
Yes. Actually, that is a very good question that you've asked, Solomon, because if you are listening to us right now, I think you must be one of the lucky people to come across that word purpose. Because if you've never come across purpose, then you would not even know whether there is anything called purpose. So the fact that you have come across purpose tells you Your life has a meaning. Your life has a reason why it was brought here on earth. God told Jeremiah, I think in Jeremiah 1:9, that before I formed you in your mother's womb, I knew you. And already I had an information about you. You see, God already had a purpose for Jeremiah. He knew Jeremiah was a prophet. So, purpose, until you get to hear or to get the information that is something called purpose, you may not search for it. So some people will get to purpose through default, because it is very if you've got this big purpose inside you, you know, like the people with a ball of energy, they just leaders, they express themselves very easily and they flow into what they carry. But if you are those people with purposes that are hidden, you may never have known that I have a purpose. Now, listening to this information is important, because to discover your purpose, it is intentional. And the intention is this: you need to start going through yourself, having an internal self-check about what are my likes and dislikes. How am I coded? You know, the way I receive information, you know, what I like, what I don't like, because purpose is inside you. It is not outside there. So what are the kind of friends I gravitate to? What is the kind of conversation I gravitate to? You know, politicians will always gravitate to us politicians. You know, like what I'm doing right now, this is counsel. People who have counsel will gravitate to the same direction. So what is it that you have? Where do you gravitate in a conversation? Who are the kind of people that you are attracted to? There is a self-discovery journey you go that will make you understand what is purpose. Again, the other thing you can do is pray. Ask God to give you a revelation. Somebody like Joseph was revealed his purpose through a dream. So God was able to show him, in the future you're this leader. So it's possible for God to show you your purpose. Again, you can listen to people. People sometimes will see you more than you see yourself. And when they say something about you, keep noting those things and investigate within yourself. Am I this kind of a person? What they are saying, you know, because sometimes people see you more than you are looking at yourself. So it is intentional. When you start having a pursuit of purpose, that is, you really want to investigate. God also is very much on your side, because he's the one who made you as a tool. So the moment you highlight that in your heart and your mind, it is possible that even God will send people to confirm some things you are thinking about, to confirm your talents, your gifting. He will start positioning you in the places that you should be. And you will discover, mtu anaweza kuambia, oh, na wewe unajua kushuka nywele sana. Probably you're just a designer, you know. So there are things that will happen around your life that will start positioning you to what you're carrying. So the first place is the awareness, like we are discussing about purpose. Yeah.
I agree. I don't know whether you do, but there's something that Evangelist has said, that most often the people without are able to recognize much about you than you are about yourself. So I don't know, has that happened to you? People telling you what you should be, you're this person. Do you believe that, or do you know exactly who you are? She also said that God sometimes will lead you to what your purpose is. So that tells us that we ought to remain with the source. We ought to ask the source who we are. We ought to ask God to show us what we ought to be doing. Well, Evangelist, you know, that there are many of us, or there are people out there,
Yes.
who are born into something. For example, the family business.
Yes.
Right? They were born and they found something this being done. So it's like you said, the status quo. So they just went to school, and once they finished school, they went back to the family and they continued with the family business. And it has been like the purpose for them. So what should those people do? For example, should they continue to do this? And acquire? Okay, can this purpose be acquired, or must it be something that we ask God to give us, or what will you go for these people?
Yeah, there are those scenarios where, of course, the family has already set structures in a family, and they think this is the path everybody should follow. And so sometimes it becomes very difficult because that's a very strong force that is trying to maybe even shut who you are. And that is not a situation that is new. It has happened. It happened a lot, even in the Bible, when we talk about, I think, because my context also is based on Jesus. When you look at the story of Jesus Christ, who was sent on this earth as a Messiah and a Savior, he was born in a small Nazarene family who they were carpenters. And what was happening around his family, they could not understand him not entering the status quo. And that means when he started saying, at his preaching, he's going to the synagogue to start, teaching people there. Everybody was like, what is wrong with this? Isn't this the carpenter's son? The question was, why can't he stick with the business of the father? Why is he trying to break the status quo? So the family did not accept Jesus, because if you read the story of Jesus, actually we don't see any of his brothers and sisters around, only his mother. And he says a prophet, he is only without honor in his own family. What happens? The family sometimes can strive or shut down whatever you carry, but you must be this person who is, deliberate and ready to live your life. Because if Jesus was not strong enough, he would have stuck in the status quo of Nazareth, being a carpenter, but he had a bigger mission. You must be able to understand that your purpose is God-given. Despite the fact that your mother and your father are used to bring you on this earth, the bigger picture is this, that you were created by God. You came to this life because of the agenda of God. He is the sole and sovereign reason why you are here, as much as the mother and the father were used. So, and he is the one that you shall be answerable to when you come out from this life. So at the end of the day, you must be able to understand, where does your allegiance highest go? I know the mother and the father, the business is important, but what if God decides to put something that is different inside me that is not the same with the family members? Am I supposed to let it go, just be put somewhere in the cupboard and forgotten? There's a story in the book of Matthew 24. The Bible talks about a wealthy, rich landlord who gave 3 tenants to his servants. One he gave 1, the other 2, and the last one he gave 5. But the one he gave 5, he went and actually worked on his tenants. The tenant was a representation of some money, some investment he gave him, some talent. And he went and did, he used the talent 10 times more. From 5 he brought 10. This one who had 5 brought 10. But the one who had 1, he said that, Master, I was afraid. That's the first thing. He was afraid. And then he said that, I knew you were a wicked master, and that's why I decided I don't want to mess up with what you've given. Let me hide this thing and not use it. Now look at this last servant. You may just want to think that probably those people might not fit in that category, but if you look keenly, you see that this man had fear. There was fear to use something he knew he had. He had a gift inside him, something that was important, but he had fear. He had fear of the master. Maybe he had even fear of other reasons, but he decided, because he knows he has a gift, he hid it somewhere. He ignored the gift. But the result is this: when the master heard what he said, tie this man and throw him to the fire. Because he even asked him, why didn't you even take my talent or the investment I give you and put it in a bank? So there are questions that will be answered in your life in the end of your journey when you do not use what God has already given you, because that is an investment that God has given you, and it is not for you. It's supposed to be for humanity. Yeah, you are supposed to serve. The fact that he did not serve and he did not focus on that gift, it was an error. It was wickedness. It was counted wickedness on that person, and they were thrown to the fire. So they actually lost their eternity because of not using the gift and the talent. So it's very important to understand your first allegiance. As much as there is family, there is mother, there is father, there is a higher allegiance in that God created you and brought you to this life. You must be able to follow the sound of God in your spirit. And when now you have between the family there are issues because maybe they cannot accept what you're carrying, you will have to make a decision, because eventually when you go out and follow the gift and the talent, the family will come back even to praise you and to be on your side. So this is not something that has not happened many times in the Bible. Even Joseph, I think his brothers did the same. They were not happy about who he was, but eventually when he arose to that high position, they really celebrated him and loved him. So I think it's very important, even if you are confined in the family business, you are confined in whatever situation, structure of the family, you must be able to listen to the sound of God in your spirit and follow it. Because if you don't, eventually you shall be accountable why you did not use that gift.
Excellent.
Yeah.
So, I mean, purpose, it's a key issue, but what we are saying is, it doesn't mean that it is specific for you, but a group of people, a number of people might be doing the same thing, but it is their purpose, right? There can be a group of designers, a group of footballers, right? So you're not saying that everyone go out there individually doing their own thing, because of course you need to work together. There needs to be like cooperation for something to work. Yes. So we're not saying that you quit your job and go start something new, right? But you can be actualizing your purpose, right, in a group, in an organization, right? Yes. Yeah. So also, I tend to realize that, like, the main function of the world, or probably how the world works, is to deviate you from doing your purpose. Yeah, there was a time we were talking with Evangelist, and she was telling me that try to do what you are meant to do and see how the forces arise to prevent you from accomplishing that, right? Yes. Yeah, so that only tells us that it takes sacrifice. If you want to do your purpose, you have got to sacrifice. You have got to leave that comfort, that job that is trying to pay, but it's deviating you from what you should actually be doing. So, and also something else Evangelist said, that there is a grace that is given, yes, to perform that purpose. So yes. I don't know whether you tell us about that.
Yes. Yeah, actually the giver of the talent and the gift, he puts an investment. That investment is in form of what we call grace. And what is grace? Grace, inside there are connections, there are opportunities, doors, there is strength, there is wisdom, there is knowledge, everything. It's a whole package for you to be able to unleash on the gift you have. Look at a footballer. Even the grace, that anointing, that power to be able to know how to score and, chenga, and whatever you use, the information you use when you are a basketballer. I think in my time there was a man called Michael Jordan at some point. He was a very good basketballer, but you can imagine he was very tall, and I think he did amazing things. I used to love to watch basketball. And you see, God is so intentional, because he was even tall and he was able to now actualize on his talent. God gave him everything he needed for that, the tallness, the wisdom, the teams. I think he pushed himself to that place where now he became a star and people would celebrate him in the world. So every time you have a certain gift or talent, God is very intentional. Whether you are a singer, God will give you the best voice. Whether you are a model, God will give you the best beauty body. Whether you are a mechanic, God will give you the best information and good hands to be able to work in that gift. So the grace is loaded with everything you need for the assignment. If you're a preacher, God will give you information. He will load you with everything you need. So the moment you start getting your mind aligned with purpose, very important, you will realize that God already has set a package aside for you on that journey. Whether it is money you shall be needing, if you're a businessman, there are people who are gifted. They are kings in the marketplace and they know how to do some things. The moment they think of projects, God will provide the money. So the most important thing is for you to be able to align yourself with the purpose or the gift and the talent. Because inside that, the owner who has given that gift and talent, the owner of the purpose, has already given, he has already accounted and put in an investment for you. Let me say, God is more purpose oriented even over your case. He's so ready that the moment you step out to the direction he wants you to go, everything you need on that path he will provide. He is so accountable and very responsible. So God is going to provide everything you need in form of grace, whether it is friends, connection, right positioning, anything, name it. Because you might discover your purpose and you find it looks too huge that I may not be able to get there. Just know the most important thing is when you identify your purpose, now start stepping out. The grace is available. God already has brought the investment. Whatever you need, you shall find it. The most important is to step out and start moving towards that direction. You will find everything you need because God is very responsible. He will not say that you are this kind of a person and not send you everything you need. He's the one who has sent you. I think that is one thing you need to understand. When you discover purpose, you have discovered the purpose of your assignment. Ulitumwa kwa nini? Yeah? You have discovered why I was sent. So the sender who has sent you is very responsible, I can assure you. He will give you everything you need on the journey. So it's very important to actually be intentional and know that the grace is available when we discover our purposes.
Amen. So that is very nice. So for those of you who have been wondering how to start, how to step out, so there's no formula, just step out.
Yes.
And just know that the grace is there. And this is for people who know in themselves their purpose. This is not for everyone, so do not step out of that job or in that place or where you're working. You have no idea of that purpose you want to do, right?
That's right.
Yeah. So this is for you people who in the morning when you wake up, you feel there's something you should be doing differently.
Yes.
This is for you. So you just need to start do it and stay connected to the source and he will provide what you need. It might take time. It of course absolutely takes sacrifice, but it will work out because the Lord wants that you do that, or probably so we say. Also probably you mustn't, it's not a must that you get out of what you're doing right now, but you may find a way to do that purpose, right? It could be like a side hustle or probably something you do, but you may find a way to do that purpose or that which you feel you are at best doing, right? You know, there are people who work day jobs, but in their personal times they do something that is they feel is purposeful to them, and once it gets to ground, they shift from that job they are doing and they capitalize on their purpose, right? There's this phrase that you cannot not do what you love, right? And also life has got a way of directing you and bringing you to that perfect place where you ought to be. So it's going to happen in time. It's going to happen, but it's also going to take a decision, right? Yeah, so you have got to decide also. So I don't know whether you have last words, Evangelist.
Yes, and I think that point that Solomon is putting across is very important. When you discover what you love, this thing that you always do apart from maybe the major thing you're doing, I think you should try and put more investment on that, your time, because your time is actually where also the resources are locked. So you should spend more time doing that thing you like, which you feel it's flowing. You invest more of your time there, because what you're saying you love, that is where there is productivity and there is going to be result. That is where you're going to be rewarded. That is where everything in your life is going to flourish. The moment you understand this is who I am and this is what I am meant to do and this is what I flow or whatever, like Solomon is saying, this is what I love, then you put more time, make the skill better, sharpen it. As you know, this is who I am, sharpen. If you are a pianist or a keyboardist, do trainings, get to know better, sharpen your skill, put more investment. make your skill in a way that people would be able to, consume it, because that skill, if it is not sharpened in a car amateur, many people might not be able to consume what you're having. So it takes effort to build it, to make it sharp. Yeah, and so that means you have to build it by putting more time, more skill, so that it gets to a level where now it is consumable, it can be presented, it can bring fruitfulness and productivity. The Bible says that your gift and talent will bring you before kings. So eventually this gift and talent will bring you before kings and lords, and that is where now you will start shining. You will get whatever else you need, whether it's remuneration or appraisal or whatever it is. There is so much that happens when you go before great people, because going before great people, you only go when your gift is in an excellent position. So put more time on it, work on it more until you find now you can leave whatever it is, but always put more time on the gift and the talent as you pursue purpose.
Right.
Yes.
Put more time and develop the skill. Well, something else about the people who are born knowing what they ought to do. There are others who it's going to take time for them to realize who they are.
Yes.
So wherever you lie, don't you worry. But when it happens, then we thank God and we praise Him and we follow that purpose. So thank you for joining us on this show, on this series. We hope that you are going to be with us on the next one, God willing, and on the others that shall follow. God bless you for watching.
Yeah, we look forward to hear your comments. Kindly send them, send your questions. We'll be ready to answer them. Bye-bye. God bless you.